Here we go. It is time. All right, looks like in theory we're live. This could turn into a complete train wreck. No idea. First live here as we await the verdict for the Daybell trial. So yeah, I have wanted for several days to be doing more videos, and I have ended up, perimenopause is a thing. So I've had some exhaustion and, alas, some headaches and migraine crap going on. Yay, storms. Anyway, it's been, so yeah, I was hoping to video last night, didn't happen, but a couple fun things as we're waiting, because yeah, we should be getting the verdict at the top of the hour. Anyway, so a couple of fun things. I had lunch with a friend the other day who was visiting from Hawaii. In fact, that's today's chocolate. She brought me some macadamia nuts covered in chocolate. And then she sent me this awesome screenshot of a comment on Facebook. Someone said, so this is someone named Molly, so thank you, Molly, whoever you are on whichever page you said this. She's commenting on the Daybell case. She said, what I do find strange is most in that faith, meaning Latter-day Saints, I don't know how many, just what I've seen on the stand and in interviews, seem very passive and gullible, other than the one on True Crime, Faith, and Chocolate. She said she was suspicious from the start, but her friends didn't find anything suspicious. That is true. So thank you again, Susan, for sending that to me. And then on Sunday, I had a delightful moment as church was ending, and my bishop's wife tapped me on the shoulder and said that she was late to church because she had been binging the channel. So thank you for that. And then today I got a text from another neighbor on my street. Hey, Rebecca. Yes. We did find a raccoon in our garage, so watch your garage perhaps. Welcome to my channel, neighbors and friends. Yeah, so as we're waiting, it should be here any minute now, but we're just watching the feed. Oh, goodness gracious. I'll pull out some of my notes I've been meaning to talk about as we wait. I will say that as Judge Boyce was going over jury instructions, I was freaking out because the way one of them was phrased at first, it sounded like the jury had to find all of these overt acts as proven by the state, or each count would have to be, negated on their own. And on Tylee's one was the wind direction search, and I was like, oh crap, because we're pretty sure Chad's the one who did that. But at the same time, Emma said she did it. We think she's lying, but did the state prove it was Chad? And I seriously, I had this pit in my stomach. And then later on the state's final statement, not their closing arguments, but their final moment there, Lindsay Blake clarified that only one of those overt acts has to be proven. So thank heavens. I was like, Tylee better not get justice over this one. Oh, hello, Allison from the UK, or from Britain, England. Thank you. I'm so happy to see people here. This is fantastic. All right, so some of my other thoughts here. Lindsay Blake, I love the fact that she gave us the closing arguments for the state. Last time under Chad, it was reversed. She gave the opening and Rob Wood gave the closing. They did opposite this time around, and she's just fantastic. We absolutely adore her. Should be at a point. Chad always had the answers. Chad always had the answers, no matter what. It wasn't Lori. It was Chad. Lori went to Chad. They would do those castings, and that would be Chad. How did they know it would work? Lori would call Chad, even if he wasn't there. She emphasized things like wanting to have increasing the pain on toddlers. And I will just say, this is the one question I've had from some people. I'm planning on doing a Q&A soon about LDS stuff in general, but I've got people asking things like, do Latter-day Saints believe that children can be evil? Absolutely heck not. Not to the point that one reason we don't baptize till children are 8 is because we don't believe children below that can sin. So to the idea that a toddler could be evil and possessed and would merit having pain, that is beyond despicable. Okay, we're gonna get it soon? Okay, well, I'll cut right over to that as soon as the the sound comes on. See, I've got different earbuds, so I can hear from different sources what's going on here. Oh gosh, this is intense. Holy crap. As you can tell, wearing my little hoodie that I wore to bed last night because I'm just freaking out. Oh goodness. Yes, we do know it was Chad. Oh, Crime Crochet and Coffee, thank you. Love this channel. Awesome. And yes, we do, Colleen, we know it. This is Chad. Absolutely freaking not. And Kitty Corner. That's fantastic. Yeah, okay, that's just, yeah. Crime Crochet Coffee also says, I'm not from the LDS Church, I'm Pentecostal, however, we do the same thing with baptism. So, yeah, children, no, I think most people around the planet, regardless of denomination or faith, can say children are innocent. Give me a freaking break, guys. Chad, oh. One thing that cracked me up is that, I don't know, Pryor, as usual, pisses me off and annoys the crap out of me, but he, oh, hello, he was definitely on one in his closing arguments and saying things. We knew he was going with some of the stuff where, of like, oh, light and dark, that's very much an LDS thing, and so many witnesses have said it's in the Bible. It's like any Christian, that, what are you talking about? It's not specifically LDS. He talked about the 144,000 as meaning a little village tent city of old and infirm and children. And I'm like, I don't know. We don't believe that. The Bible doesn't say that. I have no idea where he got that idea from, conflating those two ideas. He talked about the celestial realm. That's not how he referred to it. And I'm allowed to get married in the celestial. That doesn't make sense, guys. That on LDS vocabulary terminology just doesn't make sense. He goes, yes, that's traditional. No, it's not. No, it's not. No. Over at Acts again, let's see, so we talked about espousing religious beliefs to further a conspiracy. He goes, and Pryor went off about how belief is not an overt act, and we don't punish people for beliefs. And I wanted to go, okay, if you've seen one of my other videos, we go into that, how, yeah, like the whole core whore phone call with Melanie Gibb when she called Lori a core whore, how that's not just being like Satan or Antichrist, there's more to it than that. And part of that story in the Book of Mormon, again, I'm not trying to evangelize or convert anybody, I'm just explaining. One of the stories in there is core whore who was preaching all these horrible things, but it specifically says you cannot prosecute someone for their beliefs, only on their actions. And so they couldn't stop this guy because he was preaching his beliefs. That's literally one of our foundational beliefs as well. You can't prosecute someone for their beliefs, but their actions. So, ooh, okay, are we there? I'm not hearing sound yet. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna unmute it so we don't miss anything. Yes, I'm pretty sure it'll be guilty, but I'm still freaking out. Okay, not hearing anything yet. Oh yeah, Kitty Girl, completely agree. It probably made me so mad when he kept calling Chad a traditional Mormon. He's fundamentalist at best. Amen. Yes. Okay, here the jury's coming in.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Oh gosh.
All right, I apologize. It'll take me a moment here to get logged on, and then we'll get started.
Oh gosh, technical things just slowing us down. This is starting me crazy. I'm nauseated right now. Ugh. Yeah, people asking, no verdict yet. We're in court, and Judge Boyce is logging on to his computer to get whatever he needs up so we can actually hear the verdict. Oh, goodness gracious. So, you know what? We'll just go with until he starts talking. Oh gosh. Yeah, I will say it was interesting though that when my stomach dropped about the whole trying to prove the wind direction search, and I freaked out over that. Pryor brought that up in his closing, so I think he knows that could matter. But again, fortunately, if even if the state didn't prove that one, they have so much else, and they don't need to prove that. Woohoo! Oh, Pryor also made a
Okay,
point.
we're on the record
Okay,
on
here we
case
go.
CR 22-21-1623, State of Idaho versus Chad Guy Daybell. The court's been advised that the jury has reached a verdict. The court will note the parties are present, the state's present with Mr. Wood, Ms. Blake, Mr. Wixom, and Ms. Beatty. Mr. Pryor's here representing the defendant, Mr. Daybell, and the court at this time is going to instruct the jurors to please be brought into the courtroom. That will include our alternate jurors as well to be seated. And then I will have the marshal get the verdict form from the jury once they return to the courtroom. So if they can come in at this time, we'll have them brought in.
All right, please. Here's our President Counter for you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Hello from Germany. Crime Crochet Coffee. I'm so glad you have some missionaries helping to understand what the heck all this means.
All right,
and
the
what's
court's
going
going to next just make a reference that there is a courtroom conduct order in effect in this proceeding to remain in effect. So I appreciate everyone complying with that order, as most of you have done throughout the proceedings in this
Whether it's a
case.
good or bad thing that get a
At
quick
this time,
verdict,
then,
I'm
the
thinking
first matter
good,
I'd like to take up
because
is
Lori's
to
was
do a
about
roll
7
call
hours,
of
I
the
think.
jury for the record. So, Madam Clerk, if you could please conduct a roll call of our jury to make sure they're all
How
present
long
and
were
properly
deliberations?
seated at
They
this time.
broke yesterday, or I want to say around 4 p.m.,
Juror
something
number
like that.
one,
Went
red
home for
card
the
number
night.
27.
And then this began again
Juror
this
number
morning at
2,
8.
red card number 219.
So I want to say
Juror number
about
4,
like Lori's,
red
about
card number
7-ish, 8-ish hours.
631.
ballpark.
Juror number 5, red card number 653. Juror number 7, red card number 752. Juror number 8, red card 1680. Juror number 9, red card number 823. Juror number 10, red card 1358.
Present.
Juror number 11, red card 1365.
Hi, Mark Barden at Sandy Hook Promise here.
Gosh. Of all
When the
times to
gunman
get an ad.
shot his
Oh, where's my stupid...
All right, at this time, I'm next going to inquire from the jury foreperson. Has the jury reached a verdict? All right, thank you. Mr. Bailiff, if you would please retrieve the verdict from the jury foreperson. Thank you. All right, the court has reviewed the verdict form. I'll note that all counts have been properly marked, as well as the verdict form's been properly dated and signed by the foreperson. The next step then is Mr. Daybell, if you and counsel would please rise. I'm going to have the clerk read the verdict.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho in and for the County of Fremont. State of Idaho Plaintiff versus Chad Guy Daybell Defendant. Case number CR 22211623. Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception? Guilty. Question number 2. In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan? Guilty. Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Guilty. Question number 4. In regards to count 4 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Guilty. Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tamara Tammy Daybell? Guilty. Question number 6. In regards to count 6 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tamara Tammy Daybell? Guilty. Question number 7. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of insurance fraud? Guilty. Question number 8. In regards to count 8 of the amended indictment, in regards to count 9 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of insurance fraud? Guilty. Dated this 30th day of May, 2024, and signed by the presiding juror.
All counts, guys. All counts. Guilty on all counts.
All right, Madam Clerk, thank you for reading the verdict. At this time, I'm just going to collectively ask the jurors, all of you,
Hallelujah.
is this in
Hallelujah.
fact your unanimous
Oh.
verdict on each of those counts? Very well. At this time, I'm going to inquire
guys,
if the
justice.
parties wish to have the jury polled. Does the state wish to have the jury polled?
Okay, let's mute that while they're polling the jury. Oh my gosh, guys. Relief, relief. I mean, like, even if it had been guilty on conspiracy but not actual murder, that would have upset me because they all deserve justice. Even though the penalty would have been life in prison or whatever. But guys, guilty on every single count. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh goodness. One thing what we know now is that they're going to go into the penalty phase, which means the jury goes back to deliberations to decide on one question: life in prison or the death penalty. So yeah. So here's I think I've mentioned this in a video that I haven't yet posted because exhaustion and migraines and all crap are a thing. So, but my view on the death penalty, in theory, I don't like the idea of putting people to death, executing people. However, it rarely does happen because the appeals process can take 40, 50 years. But if you're on death row, you're in solitary confinement. So I like that. And I also like that in many cases you can end up with using it as a bargaining chip to get more information out of the suspect. But let's see I guess the jury's heading out now. Anything else we're doing here? If there's anything else we need to watch on this, or we can just celebrate and eat our chocolate, all that good stuff. Oh, heavens. Okay, I think that's it for now. Holy moly. Oh, holy crap. Processing. So what are you guys thinking on that? Like, oh, holy. I cannot even express. I am so relieved and just grateful on all of this. Holy freaking right. So, yeah. Sorry, Pryor. You did a lot of crappy stuff in your attempt to defend and didn't work because there was no real defense to be made. So one thing that I will say before I'll sign off, and then I'll do an actual video later about more thoughts on closing arguments and all that good stuff. But Pryor made a huge point of saying, well, we may never know what actually happened to JJ and Tylee, and that right there is a reasonable doubt. And I wanted to scream at him and say, no, that is not reasonable doubt. We don't know exactly what happened, and we will never know because there weren't cameras watching and whatever else, and he's not speaking. But we know he did it. People were correctly convicted 100 years ago for things before DNA and cameras existed for this kind of stuff. So, no, that's not how this works, dude. But yeah. So use your common sense. Look at the evidence. They did that. So, oh, hallelujah! I just can't even. Anyway, yeah. There's so much more about Pryor. I was taking notes on all of the closing arguments, and most of them were Pryor because he's being stupid, as always. He even said, he did say confirmation bias correctly 3 times. He said they went back to confirmatory later. But yeah, he did say it correctly at least 3 times. So good job, Pryor. You can learn. One of my favorite moments is when he said that we've lost the art of, as a society, of like speaking and communicating because we rely on texting. He goes, what I'm doing right now is an art. I'm like, oh, Pryor, isn't that sweet? You think what you're doing is art because you can't do it very well. Lindsay Blake, Rob Wood, Rocky Wixon, what they did was art, not what you did. Anyway, let's see. Oh, thank you everybody who's your very kind comments. Yes, I find no joy in his lot, just relief for the victims who are finally, and the families who've been just suffering, so they can get some answers. Closure's not really a thing, but at least they can get some justice. And hopefully that can help on the path to some healing and some level of peace. So, yeah, art is subjective. Definitely, Stephanie. Anyway, yes, okay. Anyway, all right. I think that's it for we'll probably just start watching other people's coverage, the actual journalists that are out there, and I'll be back because as I'm sure you all know, I have opinions. I have opinions, and I like expressing them. So again, thanks to Susan for sending me that screenshot of that awesome comment. She happened to see on another Facebook page. About me, and to my sweet bishop's wife who's been binging, thank you, and my neighbor who this morning apparently discovered my channel because she learned about our raccoon. So yeah, welcome everybody and thank you. So yeah, I think we'll be good for that and go celebrate with some chocolate, guys. Let's do it.